the way we do this. There we are. All the cameras are working. Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. The way this works is I'm going to talk for 24 minutes on my topic, which is surviving the holidays today. Any health questions you have, anything, type it in on a platform that you're on. John, my producer behind the camera, will then read me the questions at the 24-minute break. Then I'll do another 24 minutes. I'll answer your questions again. So this is a great opportunity to get your healthcare questions answered, and whatever question you have, other people have too. So it's very beneficial to everyone. So I am ready to start whenever you are, John. All right, ready? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you're with me today. We are going to do a show called Surviving the Holidays. Now, we're going to give you tons of different tips on things you can do to make it through these holiday seasons, because now more than ever, this time of year is the most important time to take control of your health. I'm begging you, please don't say, I'm going to wait till January. It's one of my tips, by the way. I'm going to wait till January, because if you do, you spent all this time building up an environment in your body that isn't good for good bacteria, affects the immune system, affects brain function, more likely to get sick. And so I really want you to consider taking some of these, if not all of these tips. It's going to make for a much better holiday season, and it's going to make for a much better beginning of the year as well, and a better life. So, first of all, I'm going to start. You've heard me talk about supplements a lot. Now you have to do your supplements. Winter's coming. Remember that show, right? Winter's coming. Winter's coming. You're more likely to get sick. There's multiple reasons. I won't give you a lecture on that. I have a section on immune system. If I get to it, I'll discuss it today or tomorrow or next time we're together. But the immune system is really going to be compromised in the next couple of weeks. So supplements, minimum supplements. Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, vitamin D3 with K2, which is so important for the immune system, and vitamin B complex. In fact, I saw a study the other day that during COVID, that if people had their vitamin D levels, I want to say it's 60 nanograms per milliliter. Don't quote me on that, but it was something along those lines. 0 deaths from COVID. And the lower it was, the higher the incidence of death. So I don't know how to make this more clear to you. Take your vitamin D3 with K2. Now make sure it's D3 with K2, because one of the things that vitamin D does, it's actually a hormone. It's not even a supplement, but it helps absorb calcium from your food and bring it into your blood system. K2 takes it from your blood system and brings it into your bones. So I don't want you building up vitamin D3, calcium building up your blood vessels if you just take D3 alone. Make sure you take it with K2. That's why you listen to these shows, because you get these health tips you're not going to get. Well, you might get somewhere, but not a lot of places are going to give you that. So minimum supplements. Now, we have two other supplements I want to talk about, Dr. Joe's Wellness Booster and Dr. Joe's Seasonal Tonic. And I'm going to get into the lecture, don't worry. But Wellness Booster, take it every day. It helps build up your immune system and keeps it strong. The minute you get any symptom, a scratchy nose, a tingle in your throat, anything, I want you to take 2 drops of Seasonal Tonic, 2 dropperfuls of Seasonal Tonic every hour. It's very powerful. Ginger, horseradish, cayenne pepper, onion, and garlic with apple cider vinegar. It tastes the way it sounds. It's really strong. But as soon as you get that first tingle, you start taking 2 dropperfuls an hour. Most cases, the next day you'll wake up, you won't even remember you had it. The longer it sinks in, so to speak, the harder it is to wipe out. So have the Seasonal Tonic and Wellness Booster on hand all the time. All the supplements are on the website, drjoe.com. So let's jump right in. We have a ton of tips I want to give you, and I want you to consider these. And some of you are going to argue with me. I know you are. Well, it's the holidays and I'm a party and everything in moderation. What other excuse can I give? We all have the same excuses. The excuses don't work, just so you know. So what I do, I announced one of my shows the other day. I was going to a party that night. So the next day after the party, I had some patients come in that listened to the show. And they were new patients. And they said, before we start, what did you eat at the party last night? And I said, nothing. And the wife looked at the husband and said, I told you so. And I said, I ate before I go. I always eat before I go to a party unless I know what's going to be there. And the reason is, if you show up starving, everything looks like a good idea. Well, I haven't had this in a while. I've been working out. I've intermittent fasted. Whatever your excuse is, everything looks like a good idea, including those things are absolutely not a good idea. You want to avoid them. So I don't fill up before I go to a party, but I'll have some hummus, I'll have some a salad or something like that. And then if I go there and there's some food that I think is going to be healthy for me, I can have a little bit and enjoy just a little bit. but don't overstuff yourself. If you're a regular listener to my podcast and my shows, I've told this story before, but we get a lot of new listeners, so bear with me. In Sanskrit, which is from India, they have a similar story that the Christians have and the Jews have and the Muslims in Adam and Eve. That Adam and Eve were told they could eat anything they want, but don't eat the apple, as the Christian Bible says. But in Sanskrit, it says, God said to Adam and Eve, you can eat as much as you want of anything you want, but don't eat more than you need. And so the spin that they have in Sanskrit on the Adam and Eve story is that Eve took one more bite of food than she needed. And that original sin is gluttony, eating too much. And it's one of the 7 deadly sins, of course, of the Bible, not of nutrition. But be careful and think about that. Gluttony is one of the things that can really wipe you out. So even if you're eating organically grown hummus with avocados, too much of it is really hard to digest. Because remember this, your stomach is the size of your fist. How many of you eat the size of your fist at every meal? Most of us don't. I don't. We eat more than that. But if you start eating 2-3 times the amount of your fist, the stomach has real trouble digesting the food. And so the food kind of sits in the stomach and can rot and irritate the stomach, and it becomes a real challenge because nothing really gets digested properly. Because think about this. If I have a piece of meat, I don't eat meat, but if I had a piece of meat, it would take maybe 4 hours to go from my stomach to my small intestine. If I have a cantaloupe, it takes about 20 minutes. So what is my body going to digest, the cantaloupe or the meat? It gets confused, and nothing really gets digested properly. So limit the amount of food that you eat. Be careful about gluttony. Even if it's healthy food, too much is not a good idea. That's why I eat and then go to the party, because it takes 20 minutes to get the message from my stomach to my brain that I'm full. So I can eat nonstop for 20 minutes, or I can eat a little bit, wait 20 minutes, and you're going to eat a lot less. So that's what I'm applying here for this party rule for the holidays, is have some food. By the time you get to the party, you're not going to be starving. You're not going to be famished, and you're able to make better choices. Because then you can say, all right, I'm not really hungry. What's going to be the best choice that I can have out of these foods? As opposed to, let me try everything and see which one I like. So think about that. Make better decisions. You're going to be so much healthier as you go through the holidays. You're going to feel better too. And you got to make sure you hydrate. Make sure you're drinking enough water. Sometimes you're not hungry, you're thirsty. It's a part of your brain that controls hunger and a part of your brain that controls thirst at birth. And then, as you become a toddler, those two parts of the brain grow together. So many times, you're not hungry, you're thirsty. And you have trouble distinguishing between hunger and thirst because the parts of the brain, it's in the hypothalamus, that you can't tell the difference. So just drink some water before every meal. I mean, that's a great rule anyway. But especially during the holidays, make sure you're hydrated. And that certainly goes for alcohol as well. And load up on the good stuff first. If you're going to go to a party buffet, have the vegetables, have the guacamole. The fiber is going to make you feel fuller, and it's going to slowly push the sugar through your colon, and you get a slow release of sugar. If you eat the sugar first, bam, it gets into your body. The body releases insulin. Insulin tries to get the sugar out of the blood. The insulin goes high, takes too much sugar out of the blood. Your insulin drops low. You get hypoglycemia. You get hungry. You want to eat more. So fiber is something I really want you to consider during these holiday seasons. So eat the veggies first. Patients ask me all the time because I've been in practice for a long time. And they'll say, well, what do you eat at Christmas? What do you eat at Thanksgiving? Sometimes accusatory. And I'll say, listen, I eat the good stuff. I'll eat all the side dishes that are, plant-based. And I'm fine. Because think about it. How much turkey do you eat all year? Maybe some of you do. But most people have turkey maybe Christmas, maybe New Year's, maybe one other time. If you liked it that much, why don't you eat it all the time? It's because it's a holiday. It's a tradition. Well, I get it. I understand that. But limit how much you do because it's not that great. I mean, I remember being young. I liked turkey sandwiches, cold turkey, white meat turkey on white bread with mayonnaise. That with salt and pepper. I used to love those sandwiches. But the turkey was different then. Turkeys were fed grain. Now they're fed things like corn and soy. They try to fatten them up all around the same time of the year. And so it's not the healthiest meat. So if you're going to eat meat any time of the year, I'm going to recommend organic only. This way you don't get the steroids and hormones and pesticides and genetically modified food that they're fed and the glyphosate. And it's just a different world than it was even 30 years ago. And it's getting worse. So once again, these are tips. Whatever you want to do with them is totally up to you. Now here's something that I am very much a victim of. I'm just going to have a bite. I'm just going to have a taste. And what happens is, soon as you have something, like let's say cookies. I always joke I can't eat a cookie. I can eat a box of cookies, but I can't eat a cookie. So I'll call it the dopamine monster. I have some sugar. My brain releases dopamine. My nucleus accumbens releases dopamine, and I get high. And that dopamine monster does not eat moderately. That dopamine monster eats a lot. And so just please limit how much you're going to put in your body. And one bite of a bad thing, maybe you're different than me, and I'm sure you might be, but one bite means I want more. That's it. I just want more. Doesn't matter what it is. Is it a cookie? Is it a cake? Now, I don't eat animal products. And one of the reasons, just between you and me, one of the reasons I did that so many years ago is because I couldn't trust myself. I couldn't trust myself if something had eggs in it, if I'd eat one bite, and I knew that the cookies and the cakes and the donuts and things a lot of times had eggs in it or milk. So I said, how can I play this game with myself? I don't eat anything with animal products in it because I can't stop myself. I know. I used to work at a donut place. I was 14 years old. I made the donuts. That'll give you a tip. And I was 14 years old, and I was actually a baker. I was too young to be doing it, but nobody asked. It was a don't ask, don't tell situation. And I would be the baker. And just the smell of the sugar and the fried donuts, I'm just thinking about it now. I think I wanted to eat more. So if you're like me and you have one bite and you want more, don't have the one bite. It's hard. I know it's hard. I am on your side on this. Believe me, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about you because you're just like me and just like everybody else. When that dopamine kicks in, baby, you want more. But don't do it. You're going to regret it because the sugar blows out your immune system. It just weakens your immune system so much. And then if you have butter in there with saturated fats, it clumps up your red blood cells. You can't carry oxygen. You get tired. People say after Thanksgiving dinner, they get tired, right? And, it's the tryptophan that's found in the turkey. Same amount of tryptophan just about in all meats. So it's not the turkey that wipes you out. It's the volume that wipes you out. Because it takes a lot of energy to digest food. And if you have all these weird foods in there, you have high-protein turkey, and then you have cranberry sauce with high-fructose corn syrup, and then you have some eggnog with it, and then you have some alcohol with it and some bread. Your body's like, I don't know what to digest first. And it's exhausting. So it's not the turkey that's wiping you out. It's the volume that wipes you out. And then what happens is you sit around with a bunch of people all breathing on you. You're not getting out in sunlight. It's probably going to be cold. You're in the house. You're breathing recycled air. And that's when the immune system goes, dude, I can't take this anymore. I give up. I surrender. And then we get sick. So here's my prediction. I've never been wrong. After Halloween, people started getting sick. You saw a lot of people start to miss work. Maybe not you, but other people. And then Thanksgiving's going to come along, and everybody's going to get sick again the next following week or two. Then Christmas comes along, people get sick again. Then New Year's comes along, you get sick again. And at the beginning of the year, you've just beaten up yourself with at least 4 or 5 events, sometimes even parties on top of that. And the first couple of weeks of January, people are just wiped out. So you want to keep yourself as healthy as you can for as long as you can. And this is the perfect time to do it. If you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about surviving the holidays. And I've got a ton of tips. Now, I am not going to get to even a fraction of the tips that I want to give you. But I do this on purpose because if you want a copy of today's show notes, including all the stuff I'm not going to cover, send me an email through my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your email for you and put in there surviving the holidays. I will send you a copy of the show notes absolutely free. It's my gift to you. It's no charge. And I do this, I try to do it with every show because I want you to have this information. Because A, I talk fast. B, maybe you can't listen to the whole show. Maybe you got distracted. You got kids in the car. You're driving, whatever. This way you have a copy for yourself. And by the way, we store all our shows, our podcasts and our radio shows on our website, drjoe.com, all the way down the bottom of the homepage. So you just click on it. They're all stored there. You can listen to them. You can watch them if you want to. Absolutely free. My gift to you. So drjoe.com. If you have any health questions, by the way, send them to me through the website as well. Happy to answer your any health question, any time of the day, 24 hours a day. As soon as I get it, I'll answer you. drjoe.com. Now, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, because the nervous system also controls the immune system. The nervous system controls everything. And I had a patient this weekend. She was a psychologist. And I was talking, and I didn't know she was a psychologist. She was her mom. And we started talking, and I'm talking to the mom and everything, and she just keeps looking at me and looking at me. And I said, any questions? Any questions? She goes, well, I'm a therapist. She goes, I've never looked at it like this before. This is really cool. Getting the nervous system working, getting the digestive system working, getting the immune system working the best it can, and good diet and supplements. So if you want to make an appointment, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, just stop suffering. I don't know how to make it easier. Stop suffering. drjoe.com. Normally the first visit is $940. For you, my listeners, I've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. Any one of those is going to be more than $299 anywhere else. And I do this because I want to find out what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. So drjoe.com, and we accept almost all insurances. So drjoe.com. Book your appointment. Send me your questions. Follow me on social media, Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook is the Dr. Joe Esposito. And we post twice a day. We post health tips. So you have the podcast. You have my radio shows. You have pop-up lectures I do every now and then. You have social media with 2 posts a day. And you have access with questions at drjoe.com. I want to be your doctor. I think I'm proving that to you. So let's go back to surviving the holidays and choose quality over quantity. Kind of brushed on that earlier, but the human brain usually has to hear something 11 times to memorize it. So that's why I do this. Now, I can eat everything at the buffet or everything at the party, and that was great, and that wasn't. And then we could sit around critique it. Well, I liked what John brought in, but I didn't like what Bob brought in, and this was better than this. And don't try to eat everything. Pick the few foods that you like. Now, if you have to have dessert, pick one. Don't pick a sampler plate. I'm going to have the pumpkin pie, I'm going to have cherry pie, I'm going to have the tarts, I'm going to have the cannolis, and I'm going to have the eclairs. No, pick one. Stop. Because after it's in your mouth and after you swallow it, the pleasure's gone. That's it. So if you're only going to have that momentary pleasure, make the momentary pleasure your favorite. I like pie. I like cherry pie. I like blueberry pie. I like apple pie. I love pie. I like carrot cake. So my rule is that if it doesn't have, and this is my rule, doesn't be your rule, if it's vegan, if it doesn't have dairy or milk in it, I'll have a bite. But then you got to look too. What kind of oils did they use? Did they use canola oils? Did they use bad processed, ultra processed vegetable oils? So that now takes it off the list too. And people say, well, isn't that limiting? No, actually, it's very freeing. Because when you can take control of your own health, man, is that amazing. You feel so good when you have control. Now, how many of us have done this, aside from me, where you eat too much and you feel awful and you're mad at yourself? That was just stupid. I wish I didn't have that second drink. I wish I didn't have that third drink. Make the right decision, and you'll be so proud of yourself. And that's one of the great things about being healthy is you have control of your life. A lot of people do. So it's not just about being healthy. It's also the mental health of saying, I am in control of what I'm doing. Because I've done this. Like I said, I can't eat a cookie. I can eat a box of cookies. And I'm eating it going, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. And then when I'm done, I feel guilty. It's not worth it to me. And I'm not perfect. I wish I was, but I'm not. So don't beat yourself up either. Say, okay, I messed up this time. I'm going to do better next time. And then do better next time. That's really important. Keep the fruit visible and the junk food hidden. You eat what you see. So if you have a piece of, I don't know, whatever it is, turkey or whatever, something food that you don't want to eat a lot of, cover it up with the fruits and the vegetables and the guacamole and the hummus. And then eat that, then that'll be the last thing you eat. You'll eat less. Because if I go in hungry and I'm eating the bad stuff first, I'm going to eat a lot of it. So you got to play mind games with your head here. And the other thing we got to talk about, well, a lot of things we got to talk about, is alcohol. I am not a fan because I don't like the way it makes me feel. And the reason is I like to be on top of my game. And if I drink, and I take my statement back. I'm going to rescind my statement. I like the way I feel when I have alcohol. I don't like not being in charge of my own life and losing control. So if you're going to drink alcohol, here's my rule. 3 glasses of water for every drink that you have. Because alcohol shuts down a chemical in your brain called vasopressin. Vasopressin, also called antidiuretic hormone, prevents you from peeing. Otherwise, we'd be peeing all day. You drink alcohol, it lowers your vasopressin levels, which means the body is allowing you to flush out fluids. It makes you pee more. And so you're going to pee more. And then you're going to dehydrate yourself. And then you feel bad because you dehydrate yourself. So 3 glasses of water for every drink and an extra dose of Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, and Dr. Joe's B Complex. Because you're peeing out a lot of those vital nutrients. I'm assuming you're taking Super Green, Essential Source, B Complex, and vitamin D every day anyway. Plus, I take nitric oxide, I take omega-3s, I take men's hormone support as I get older, adrenal support. But I have a protocol that I've set up for myself, and I'll gladly set one up for you. But again, you want the minimum. Super Greens, Essential Source, D3, and B Complex. Take a second dose before you go out or after if you forget. But this way you mitigate the damage that the alcohol did, and you're drinking enough water to mitigate the dehydration damage. So if you're going to drink, at least do something about what it's going to do to you. I mean, that's easy. It's quick, it's easy, it's cheap. So I'm a realist. I get it. I wish I was perfect. I wish you were perfect. But let's try to mitigate the damage the best we can. It's a pretty simple thing. It's really not hard to do, and it's very inexpensive. Now, my father used to make eggnog, and it was amazing what he did. Excuse me. He would take whipping cream, heavy whipping cream, raw eggs, whip it together, add some vanilla to it, and then add a little bit of, was it rum? Scotch? What, whiskey? Whiskey. I think it was whiskey. And it was really good. And sugar. And it was really good. I liked it a lot. Now, raw eggs, of course, you shouldn't be doing. Whipping cream probably shouldn't be doing. But that's not a healthy drink. I don't think you need me to tell you that's not a healthy drink. And even as kids, I'll put a little whiskey in there. It's okay. It's all right. That's all right. And so if you're going to have some, remember the 1 bite rule. If you have a sip, do you want more? If the answer is no, you might want to skip the eggnog. Maybe do some sparkling water. I go to tons of events throughout the year. Many of them open bar. Top shelf booze. Everybody's trying to impress everybody else. And I don't drink. I wish I did, because it would be really cool to drink all the high-end whiskey and stuff. But I just have a glass of seltzer. And here's the whole point of this whole show today, is you can have fun and socialize without getting sick. Another thing I hate, too, when people have garlic, and this is a personal beef here, when people have food with garlic, and then they eat a lot of food with garlic, and then they come and talk to you, and it's really loud, so they're talking right in your face. It stinks. And also chew your food before you talk to somebody. It's another thing. Don't spit food on people. It's another way to survive the holidays. And if you want to save money at Christmas, talk about politics at Thanksgiving. Best way to save money on Christmas, because nobody will talk to you. So don't talk politics is what I'm getting at. So I have a seltzer. I'll get it with a piece of lime sometimes. I'll get really crazy. And at the end of the day, I have a good time. And they had a good time. I drive home safe. Don't have to worry about getting a DUI. They do. So I got to go to break already. Oh, my gosh. I've got 50 tips. And I think I covered 12 so far. So if you want a copy of today's show notes, just go to drjoe.com. Happy to send them to you absolutely free. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. We post twice a day. I don't know how to make it easier for you. 2 little health tips a day, real simple and easy. The podcast is Dr. Joe for the health of it. So you can subscribe to the podcast. We do 2 podcasts a week. And the website, drjoe.com. We have about 4,000 hours of content there. So go to drjoe.com. If you have any questions, just send it to me through the website, drjoe.com. All the supplements we talk about, it's in the store section of the homepage, drjoe.com. And if you have any questions about supplements, we lay it out really clearly. Any questions, send me any question through the website. I'm happy to answer it for you, drjoe.com. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Okay. John didn't give me the slow down sign, so I guess I was okay. So, what you got?
What do you think about black bean burritos with white rice and hot sauce? Should I add corn and guac?
Add the guac, yes, if you can avoid the corn. But you know what? If corn is your biggest sin, perfectly fine with that. Again, it's all about making better decisions. But yeah, absolutely. Now, a better way, if you want to, make it black belt level, is don't put it in a wrap, put it in a bowl. This way you don't get the wrap either, because the wrap is usually genetically modified corn or wheat. So if you do it without a wrap and just put it in a bowl, extra bonus points. So, but that's a great choice. That's what I eat when I go out to places like that, and I love it. So, what else you got, John?
What do you think about spaghetti? What are the best noodles to use?
I would prefer gluten-free if you're going to do it. Now, if you get pasta from Italy, a friend of mine was just visiting me from California, and he's Italian, and we went to Costco, and he bought like 16 pounds of Italian pasta, left it at my house when he left. So I got a lot of pasta at my house. We didn't call it pasta, by the way. We called it macaroni. Well, I grew up Italian. But that's a side note. The wheat from Italy, organic wheat from Italy, is going to be a much better choice than wheat from the United States because it hasn't been hybridized. When you hybridize the wheat, like in America, higher protein content, which is not good in this case, it's higher gluten, and it's sprayed oftentimes with glyphosate, weed killer. So organic wheat from Italy, probably a better choice. Gluten-free would be the best choice, but here's how I want you to do it. Cook the pasta, put it in the refrigerator overnight. Heat it up the next day. When you do that, you change the molecular structure and you create something called resistant starch. Resistant starch, 40% less calories, or 40% less carbohydrates, I should say, than if you cook it and eat it right away. So organic from Italy or gluten-free, and you want to make sure you create the resistant starch. Now you've changed the molecular structure all the way around to make a better choice. So there's your ideas. What else you got?
Does mango and pineapple offer the same health benefits?
They're slightly different. Pineapple has bromelain in it. Mango doesn't. But yeah, mango is higher in vitamin A or beta carotene. It's called, it converts into vitamin A. So they're both good for you for different reasons. Now, I can't eat a lot of pineapple because pineapple is bromelain. Bromelain digests protein. Your mouth is protein. So if I eat too much pineapple, it actually eats away at the inside of my mouth. It irritates it. So I got to be careful with that. But no, they're both good for you. So, what else?
How long should I wait after Thanksgiving dinner to be active?
Immediately. Because what happens is when you start eating, you want to start contracting your muscles, even if you're just doing, standing on your toes or doing squats. And instead of the sugar floating around in your blood for very long, some of that sugar is driven into the muscles and used as fuel, so it lowers your blood sugar. So as soon as you eat any meal, you want to be active. Now, you don't have to go out and play a football game, but walk around a block, clean up, vacuum, do some stairs, just go for a walk. You want to get, as soon as you eat, the best thing to do is move, and that's going to keep your blood sugar down. And almost all diseases are linked to insulin resistance, which is from too much high blood sugar. So, what else?
What are your best Thanksgiving memories?
Somebody asked me that this morning, as a matter of fact. Funny you'd say that. That was kind of an interesting question. I come from a big Italian family. My father came from 10 kids, so I have my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary. There was 73 direct descendants from my grandmother and grandfather, the Espositos. So that's pretty cool. And so I just remember playing football with my cousins, or stickball. We play football and stickball. So we'd have dinner, and then my cousins, Johnny, Paulie, and Mikey, we'd go out, and their cousin Bobby, and we'd all go out and play stickball or football, and it was just wonderful. And those are glory days, man. I miss those days. You can't have them back, of course, but I was lucky. I was lucky to have a good family, so it was kind of neat. But thank you for asking. What else?
That is all.
All right, guys, let me take a little sip of tea here. All right, where was I? There I was. Okay, ready? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. If you just joined us, welcome. If you stayed with us, I do appreciate that. I know everybody's busy, and I do appreciate you taking time to be here. And that's why I try to do every show where I give you so many different fun facts and health tips that you can pick and choose what you want to do, all of them. But sometimes I'm redundant. And the reason is that you have to hear something 11 times to memorize it. That's what the average is. So if you hear a song, and I'll tell you a story. I was in my office. I've been in the same office for 40 years. And I was walking past the second treatment room I have, and the song Because the Night by 10,000 Maniacs came on the radio. I'd never heard the song before. I remember stopping under the speaker. The speaker was in the ceiling, and I said, who is that? And I had no idea who it was. This is before computers or anything. I couldn't look it up. And somehow I found out it was 10,000 Maniacs. And I went out and I bought the CD, and I don't do that very often. And every song on there was amazing. So now I'm a huge 10,000 Maniacs fan. I bought a lot of their albums. I've listened to the albums. But the first time I heard the song, I didn't know it. After I heard it 11 times, I could sing along. So that's why you need to hear something over and over again. That's why we store our radio shows and our podcasts on our website, drjoe.com, on the bottom of the homepage. And if you're a podcast junkie, just go to Dr. Joe for the Health of It, is the podcast, and subscribe. And you get a little notification every time we do a new podcast. We do at least 2 a week, sometimes more. And I try to keep the podcast short, little segments, because it's easier to kind of digest, so to speak. But if there's so much information on our website, and if you like this, go hang out on the website, drjoe.com. But you have to hear something over and over again to get it into your head. So we're talking today about surviving the holidays. It's a challenge. I know. I went through it those years, and I remember feeling awful afterwards and getting sick afterwards, like most people do. And then when I started realizing, I don't look at the holidays as a food celebration. I look at the holidays as a family celebration, friend celebration, and food is part of it. But if you focus everything around the food, it becomes exhausting, chemically as well as physically and emotionally. So enjoy your friends, enjoy your family, and then pick out what you like. Have your top 3 foods maybe, and then stop. I know it's hard to say. I get it. I know you're going to argue with Dr. Joe. You know what you're talking about. It's Thanksgiving. It's a time to stuff myself silly. If that's what you want to do, that's okay. Line from the song is, it's your life and you can do what you want to do. But my goal is extreme health. In fact, the second book I ever wrote is called Prescription for Extreme Health, because I want extreme health. I don't want average health. First book I ever wrote was called Eating Right for the Health of It, because patients would come to me and they would say, Dr. Joe, what do you eat? So I'd write down something. I had this recipe, I had this recipe. What'd you have for dinner last night? What'd you have for lunch last night? Oh, you had a date over. What'd you cook for her? And I put it all together, and I put it in a book called Eating Right for the Health of It, and it has over 200 different recipes in here. And it also talks about how to change your life. Stocking and unstocking your pantry, Christmas, holidays, what to do if you're raising kids, desserts, how to make healthy desserts. So that's all our books are on the website, drjoe.com. And you can order them as a PDF. You can order actually real old-fashioned softcover book. We have them. And I still use it. Every now and then, I'm like, I'm in the mood for something. What am I in the mood for? Oh, I have a list of all my favorite foods. So I'll pull it out and look at it too. But what I do, what you can do too, is batch cook healthy meals. Life gets chaotic. Just the other day, I dropped a friend of mine off at the airport. He spent a week with me. He was a double Emmy Award winner. Lives in Hollywood, and he flew all the way out to Atlanta to be treated by me and my team of doctors for a week. He said, I'm flying out. I want to be treated every day by you guys. So he has access to any doctor he wants. Again, he's won 2 Emmys. And I won't say his name because he's pretty famous. And he came in, he says, I just want to be treated by you guys. I've got doctors out. I got chiropractors and orthopedists, neurologists, but you guys are the best. This is his words. And his name is John. And so John came out, spent a week with me. And life can get chaotic. Because like the last day I had to drop him off at the airport early in the morning. I get a phone call from my office manager. You need to go to our Duluth office because we had an issue up there. You need to go cover the Duluth office. I had planned on doing something else that day. And so things get nuts. But you know what was good? I had my lunch packed. My lunch was in my car. So it didn't matter where I had to go. I had my lunch with me. So start thinking about batch cooking meals. And it makes it convenient, and also it's so much healthier and so much cheaper. Oh, my gosh. Have you been out to eat lately? It gets expensive. Batch prepare the meals. It's real simple. If you don't know what to make, Dr. Joe's Eating Right for the Health of It. We have over 200 recipes in there. Make simple meals if you have to. You don't have to be fancy. It could be a plate of guacamole with some carrots. If you want to do some chips, do like I said, organic chips from Italy would be okay, or gluten-free chips, and that would be okay too. Hummus is real easy and cheap. You can I make it myself. I like it myself when I make it, but you can buy a huge thing of hummus, especially if you go to one of these big box stores. It's ridiculous, like $3-4. You can feed the whole family for a couple of days probably. So you don't have to make these elaborate meals. In fact, the simpler it is, usually the healthier it is. So think about that too. And I got invited to 2 potlucks this year so far. And one of them is a vegan group, so I'm okay there. The other one is not. So what am I going to do? The vegan group I'm probably comfortable with, knowing it's at least there's going to be food I could eat there because I don't eat animal products. Not asking you to do that. This is what I choose. And the other one is like, well, what can I do? Well, I'll eat something before I go. And I can make a big batch of something like pesto or something like that. I can make stuffed mushrooms is something I bring to parties a lot too. And then there's at least something I can eat. And most people have never seen quality stuffed mushrooms. They haven't seen a good guacamole. I mean, they have something, but not as good as yours, right? And so they go, oh my gosh, this is delicious. How did you do this? What is that? Can I have the recipe? I get it all the time because most people eat the basic stuff. Shrimp cocktail, turkey sandwiches. They'll get a veggie plate from the grocery store, a plate of cookies from the grocery store, and you bring in something crazy exotic like artichoke dip, plant-based artichoke dip. They lose their minds, and it's delicious. That's the cool part about it. So bring your own healthy dishes if you want to. Be the person who saves everyone from themselves. You could be the hero, the knight in shining armor. You can champion the cause of health. Another thing. I want you to stick with one and done holiday meal rules. Christmas dinner isn't supposed to be leftovers forever. Now, I'm okay with leftovers. I love leftovers, to be honest with you, because again, it's pre-prepared meals. But if it's bad food the first time, the second time it's not going to be any better. Now, we talked earlier, if you were listening, you can make something called resistant starches. So if you're going to make a starch, whether it's potatoes, pastas, we called it macaroni, rice, quinoa, lentils, what I want you to do is this, not just for the holidays, but for everything. I want you to cook it, put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then serve it, the next day or the day after. And what happens is you create something called a resistant starch. And a resistant starch, you're going to absorb 40% less carbohydrates, up to 40, sometimes I've seen studies higher than that, than you would if you cooked it and ate it right away. So you can actually make something that's moderately healthy, really healthy, by creating a resistant starch, just by putting it in the refrigerator. And if you put it in the refrigerator again a second time, each time you do it, you get a little more resistant starch, but don't heat up things too many times, you get sick from it. So if you go to have a meal, that's great. If you're going to do it and blow it out, and because I don't care what Dr. Joe says, I'm going to eat my Thanksgiving dinner, great. But don't eat it over and over and over again. Give your immune system a chance to heal. Give your colon a chance to heal. It's really important. The next thing I'm going to talk about is something I'm guilty of. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I was raised Catholic, I can say that. You got to chew your food. And if you did nothing else, nothing else I ever told you, and if you just chewed your food, you'd be amazed how much less food you eat. Because again, it takes 20 minutes to get the message from your stomach to your brain, and you're going to digest your food so much more efficiently. Now, I take a digestive enzyme whenever I eat a cooked meal. And I try to chew my food, but I'm not always good about it. So digestive enzymes, they're on the website, drjoe.com. They're in the store section. And I take one every time I eat a cooked meal. Now, if I'm going to have a big salad or guacamole or something, I won't take a digestive enzyme. But if I'm eating cooked food, I take a digestive enzyme. And it's a game changer. Because when you were young, you produced lots of digestive enzymes. And you could eat almost anything. I don't know if you were like me, but 6-pack of beer and a pizza, sleep for 2 hours, wake up the next day and go to work. Well, I can't do that anymore because my digestive enzymes have plummeted as I got older. It's part of the aging process. So I take a digestive enzyme every time I eat a cooked meal. And it is amazing. The bloating goes away. You feel better. You sleep better. You go to the bathroom better. Your mind, you don't get the brain fog. It's so much better. So get a bottle of Dr. Joe's digestive enzymes. I have one in my car. I have one in my office, one in my home. So wherever I am, I have a digestive enzyme available to take. And let me tell you, it's the cheapest game changer you'll ever do. It's really cool. So consider that. And stop eating when you're full. Full is a signal. Being stuffed is a punishment. Because I've never been stuffed and felt good about myself. I've been full and felt great. That was an amazing meal. That was so much fun. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you another story. I was out with my friend Tim one day, and I love Ethiopian food. Most people do. Once you try it, you'll love it. So we went out. We got a gluten-free injera, which is a bread. It's made with injera. The American version has wheat in it. So we got gluten-free injera, and we ate the stewed vegetables. And I'm sure they don't use very good oils or anything, but I said, okay. So I ate it, but Tim was hungry. So Tim got an extra side dish of lentils. So I ate it with him. I couldn't move. But here's what happened. My heart was racing. Driving home, my heart, boom, 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 boom. Because my stomach is controlled by, it's called the enteric nervous system, which is attached to the main nervous system by multiple ways, including the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve also controls my heart rate. I had irritated my vagus nerve. My heart rate was just beating out of control. And I remember thinking, darn it, I didn't say that though. Darn it, I now have to wait at least 3 or 4 hours before my heart rate slows down because I'm digesting my food. I ate too much, gluttony, original sin in Sanskrit, and it was so much volume that it irritated my vagus nerve. It caused my heart to go into essentially an AFib, afibrillation. And so it calmed down, and I went to sleep, and I thought, idiot. So I was mad at myself. So stop eating when you're full. And that's why if you eat slowly or if you have a snack before you go, you're going to eat so much less food. Now, I'm going to eat food, and it's going to affect my blood sugar. So what do we do to stabilize blood sugar? A couple of tricks. I have a whole lecture I did on diabetes. If you want a copy of that, just let me know through the website, drjoe.com. And one of the tricks I talk about is cinnamon, Ceylon cinnamon. Okay, that's the best kind. And it actually stabilizes blood sugar. How cool is that? Vinegar stabilizes blood sugar. So my grandparents, my Italian grandparents, we'd always have a big meal on Sundays. We have to go to their house and have a big meal on Sundays. And they always serve salad at the end of the meal. I was a kid. I didn't know any better. So when I became an adult and going out to a restaurant, they brought me salad before the meal. I'm thinking, what are you bringing this for? You didn't bring me the meal yet. I was a stupid little Italian boy from New Jersey. But so many things that the older generations did that worked really well. And one of them was having salad at the end of the meal because the salad had vinegar. Now, my grandparents didn't know that vinegar, acetic acid, stabilizes blood sugar. They had no idea what was happening, but they knew it worked. And so you can do a couple of tablespoons of vinegar if you want to, and that'll stabilize the blood sugar as well, or have your salad with vinegar at the end of the meal. Now, if you're going to have a creamy Caesar salad, not a good idea. Just a good old-fashioned oil and extra virgin organic olive oil and vinegar, much better to stabilize that blood sugar. Cinnamon works well. We also have a glucose supplement on our website, drjoe.com, that works really well too. It's a glucose control supplement, and it's berberine. And berberine helps stabilize blood sugar. So if you have blood sugar issues, if you crash a lot, if you're diabetic, pre-diabetic, 50% of us are pre-diabetic. Did you know that? 1 in 2 people. Look to your left, look to your right. If it ain't them, it's you. You're pre-diabetic. So that's where things like Dr. Joe's glucose control comes in. Vinegar comes in. Cinnamon comes in. Let's stabilize that blood sugar. And eating a lot of fiber, because fiber pushes the food through the colon, gives you a slow release of energy. So I know I give you a lot of health tips, but the best, if you want just the general plan for health, you have to have a normally functioning nervous system, normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition. If you have a health issue, if you'd like to meet with me and my team of doctors, make an appointment to come see us. Go to the website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. We can do it remotely if we need to as well. Normally, the first visit in person is $940. I've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. And I do this because I want to find out what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. Is it treatment with us? Is it an orthopedist, neurologist, gastroenterologist, psychologist? I don't know. So just go to drjoe.com, book an appointment. You can book it right online. We accept almost all insurances as well. And if you're ever in a car accident, I coach doctors all across the country on car accidents. If you're ever in a car accident, if the car is damaged, you're damaged. I've never seen it any other way. You will get calls from scammers. Go see this doctor. Go see this lawyer. People at the hospital. Here, go see this doctor. Go see this lawyer. It's a scam. If somebody tells you to go see a specific doctor, now the hospital may refer you to a doctor, but especially if they refer you to a lawyer, or anybody calls you unsolicited, it's illegal. It's a felony for them calling you because they illegally obtained your health care information. Call out our office, set up an appointment. If we're not near you, I can find a doctor near you who I think I can trust, and let's get you under the care you need. So As soon as you're in a car accident, call us and we'll get the things taken care of. I can refer you to medical doctors. I can refer you to lawyers that I trust. Most of them stink. I'm not going to lie to you. They're scammers and they're going to rip you off. And every day, almost every day, patients come in and say, I went to this one doctor because somebody called me and told me to go see them. Even your insurance company will never send you to a doctor or a lawyer. It's a scam. They're claiming their insurance company. And they say, my bills were really high and I got hardly any settlement and now I'm still in pain. You got scammed. Come see us, drjoe.com, and let me help you make the right decisions. So if you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about surviving the holidays. And what you want to do is stay away from those sugars. The sugars are just so bad because they stimulate the dopamine release in the brain and you get high from it. So eat your proteins and your fats first. Have your avocados, have your hummus, have your mushrooms, have the high fiber foods first, and have the sugar last. Because that's going to really help. Because if I eat a little sugar, I go crazy. But if I'm already full, I can eat a little bit of sugar, and I don't really need any more. So that's a much better choice. I'm Italian. And for a long time, I was dating this gal, and her parents were Italian as well. And every time I went to their house, they gave me leftovers to take home. Now, the good news was they always cooked food that I would eat, always healthy food, and I only took that home. But don't eat food. Don't go home with the food and then get home and say, I'm going to have a midnight snack. Stop eating around 5, 6 o'clock at night. Give your digestive system a chance to rest. Because you're digesting food. If you eat, you have a snack at night before you go to bed and then you wake up in the morning, you have breakfast, you're really not giving your colon a good chance to rest. So give your colon at least 12 hours to take a break. So if I eat dinner at 6 o'clock at night, I won't have breakfast till 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, if I can go to 7, 8, 9 hours, better still. But give your body a chance to heal because you're just beating yourself up. So take a breath. I ate already, and I don't know if you're like me, but if there's food in the refrigerator, I want to eat it. A friend of mine came to visit me, and he loves to cook. And he was making pesto, and we went out for Thai food, and he was making desserts, and he was so much food. And I said to him, listen, man, I wish you'd leave. He said, what do you mean we should leave? I said, I know, I want you to stay, but stop feeding me. Because if the food's in the refrigerator, I'm going to eat it. So if it's not there, I'm not going to eat it. So if I bring home food from a party, what do? Well, it's been a few hours. I can get a little nashi now. I can have a little piece of that vegan gluten-free pizza, or in your case, the pepperoni pizza with cheese on it. So when you take food home from the party, you can't eat it that day. That's the rule. You got to follow those rules. And we talked about this earlier. Don't fool yourself. I'm going to start in January. This is the one I hear all the time. This sentence has destroyed more people's health than cookies and cakes and donuts and pasta ever has. Just by saying, I'm going to splurge. I'm on my vacation. I'm going to splurge. And what happens? Well, you put on those holiday 5, 10 pounds, and the next year you put on another 5 or 10 pounds, and eventually you go, I give up. And I understand that. I used to be very overweight. When I was a kid, I was very fat. I have stretch marks on my chest, my legs, my belly. So I get it. I understand being fat. I can say the F word. I used to be fat. And I would say I'm going to start next week. I'm going to start after this party. It's my birthday. That excuse never, ever in the history of humanity has ever worked. So don't fool yourself. Go into the holidays thinking healthy. And maybe set up a routine. And I'll tell you my routine. If I eat early, like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the only way that works for me is I have to brush my teeth. If I brush my teeth and I floss and I water pick, I'm done. Because I'm not going to go do it again. That's too much work. I'm lazy. I'm not going to go do it again. So I know that that's my cutoff time. Maybe you can do something like have some herbal tea. Instead of a snack, have an herbal tea. Have some chamomile tea, very calming to the body. Peppermint tea, very good for digestion. Licorice tea, good for the adrenal glands, but it can raise your blood pressure, so that may not be a good one. And certainly not caffeine tea or coffee, because that's going to keep you up at night. Now, there are those people, and I think there's something wrong with those people, that can drink coffee and go to bed. I cannot understand that. I think there's something wrong with them. They need to have an evaluation. So I don't get it. But it happens. I understand that. But if you have coffee and go to bed, you may not get into the deep sleep you want to either. So that's just something to consider. So like a chamomile tea is perfect because it's so calming, it's so relaxing. Lavender works well too. Mix the two together. And let's down-regulate the body. Let's go into relaxation mode. You can meditate. You can pray. You can just breathe. Sometimes we don't breathe. I don't. I catch myself all the time not breathing. I remember when I first got into radio, 18 years ago now? 19 years ago. Oof, man. I remember somebody said to me, I said, you don't inhale. How do you talk for 2 hours and not inhale? And Kenny G, the musician, was able to continuously blow into his horn because he was able to breathe in and breathe out at the same time. I never quite understand how he did that, but it was something that he can do. Hold this note for so long because he was actually breathing in at the same time. So when you breathe, you activate what's called the parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system calms you down. Other tricks you can do to kick in the parasympathetic nervous system: hot towel across your abdomen. Get a hand towel, wet it, squeeze it out, put it in the microwave. Don't put it in the microwave dry. It'll burn your house down. Or just put it in some hot water and just lay it across your abdomen. And that kicks in the enteric nervous system, which is a parasympathetic function, which calms down the whole nervous system. I've used this great with kids. When kids are fussy and don't want to go to bed, just wrap them in a warm towel. Out they go. Well, guess what? It works for adults too. You can put yourself in a warm towel, kick in that parasympathetic nervous system. Get your shoulders massaged. Shoulders are controlled by the spinal accessory nerve. The spinal accessory nerve is a cranial nerve, means it comes right out of the brain, and it's a parasympathetic nerve. So that's why getting your shoulders rubbed feels good, but getting your leg rubbed is nice. But the shoulders just go, oh, I feel so good when I do that, because you're activating the parasympathetic nervous system to calm you down. And with the holidays, there's a lot of stress. There's travel, there's family, there's getting food ready, there's gifts, there's going to the party, there's the house clean. There's a lot of stress around the holidays. And so kicking in those parasympathetics can be really helpful to relax the body. All right, I'm looking at the clock. I got to end here. I'm going to do a part 2 of this because I got so much more to talk about. But if you want a copy of today's show notes, absolutely free, my gift to you, drjoe.com. Just send, say, Surviving the Holidays. I'll send it to you. It's free. And I do this for almost all my shows. If you want to learn more, go to my website, drjoe.com. We have about 4,000 hours of content there. Follow me on social media. We're going to give you 2 health tips a day, absolutely free. Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook is the Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You get my videos, get to see my pretty face. If you like podcasts, Dr. Joe for the Health of It. Dr. Joe for the Health of It is my podcast on all your podcast services. If you have any questions or you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com, little area says ask a question. I'm happy to answer your questions for you, drjoe.com. Folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. All right, part 1. You have questions for me, John?
Should I replace deep-fried turkey with a baked turkey?
Better choice. Absolutely. Not a good choice, but a better choice. So, what else?
Is cranberry sauce okay?
If you make it yourself, you can get organic cranberries. And a little trick that my mother taught me is get an organic orange. And you could use some honey if you want to, or some stevia, and put it in a food processor like Cuisinart and chop it up that way. And put the whole orange in, including the rind. And it creates a nice sweet, bitter flavor. But organic cranberries and organic orange, much better choice. The canned stuff loaded with high fructose corn syrup. So the answer is no for that. So.
You recommend foot baths for headaches. My foot bath container is made from plastic. Is that a concern to put hot water and soak my feet for 30 minutes?
Probably yes. Now, there are much bigger things to worry about than that, but the answer is probably yes. So I would try to get yourself a maybe like a ceramic container if you can, or just put them in a bathtub. Fill your bathtub up with hot water and use that. That would be a better choice. But I appreciate you noticing that. Yes, plastic, not good. Somebody said that to me the other day. They saw me at a restaurant. They said, "You're Dr. Joe. You don't like plastic." I thought, that's the thing you remember? So, what else you got, John?
What are the ingredients in salad dressings that I should be aware of?
I don't know if that's what's good or what's bad. The easy ones, and in this book, Eating Right for the Health of It, we have a whole chapter on salad dressings. I have a really good ginger dressing in there that I really like a lot. But extra virgin organic olive oil from one country only. For example, I was at Costco the other day with my friend who came in town, the famous guy, and he wanted to get extra virgin organic olive oil. And he said, you got to get it from one country, preferably Italy. Because I bought it one time, and it was from different countries, Italy, Spain, Tunisia, whatever it was, and I put it in the refrigerator, and it didn't get cloudy. That's how I knew it was fake olive oil, or at least cut olive oil, cut with probably corn oil, soybean oil. So good olive oil, put it in the refrigerator overnight. It gets cloudy. That's a good olive oil. If it doesn't get cloudy, it's cut with the cheap, what we call omega-6 vegetable oils. So I use apple cider vinegar, extra virgin organic olive oil, and that would be the simple one. Or you can use extra virgin organic balsamic as well. But it depends what kind of salad dressing you like. But I would stay away from dairy products. I would stay from any ingredient you can't pronounce. Let's make it simple. If you can't pronounce an ingredient, don't eat it. And salad dressing is one of the biggest ripoffs in the world. It's so quick and easy and cheap to make that when you buy it, they're laughing all the way to the bank. So if you need salad dressing recipes, get a copy of my book, Eating Right for the Health of It. Got a bunch of them in there. What else, John?
Should I add cinnamon to my sweet potatoes?
Yes, absolutely. Cook the sweet potato, put it in the refrigerator overnight, add the cinnamon, stabilizing blood sugar. Awesome choice. Don't put butter in it, though. What else?
Is stickball like baseball?
Oh, yeah, stickball's like baseball, yeah. You use we were poor, so we couldn't afford a bat, so you use a broomstick and a rubber ball, what we called a super pinky. And that's what stickball was. So very similar to baseball, but that's what the poor kids played in the streets of Jersey. So, what else?
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
And thank you all very much. I appreciate you being here. If you have any questions whatsoever, or drjoe.com, make sure you follow me on all social media, and you'll get 2 tips a day. And if you want to become a patient,